closer.
Oh, sorry, because I couldn't see
That
myself.
wasn't me. We're live. What up? What up,
Episode
motherfuckers?
number-
How's it going?
Episode number.
Life is Good is back. After
Sure.
2 weeks of being lazy and someone on my left or right, is it left on the stream? This person being late all the time. It's not like-
I was late. I was late. How was I? Was I late? Was
like coming in like at 10:30 p.m.
I was
like-
getting food. All right. We missed you guys, did we? I was scared that you would bail. That you were like, I'm done. I'm too cool for this. I'm glad you're here.
Please. You
I
know,
mean, what?
when I have an opportunity to connect with my audience, you know, I take that opportunity and seize that opportunity. You know.
I'm guessing. So you never. So this is a normal for you. 0 audience. No, I'm joking. It's mine. Oh, my audience too. So what are we? How was your week? We always start with how was your week?
My week was very uneventful.
Okay.
Nothing too special.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I did a live set last night.
Yeah.
The Red Set 2 set.
Yeah. You guys got to stream. It's on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Please stream. It's the other day, or is it as and when?
I'm trying to push for like every week. You know.
Do you have a set date and a time?
No.
No. So it's you just have to always. Where can they connect? Where can they find out when you go live?
Instagram, baby.
Instagram, baby. Okay, drop the handle down there.
Twitch.tv, man. Twitch.tv
Yeah.
/RedSet2.
You gotta follow the set too. Okay. And how was your live set? What was it? What was the music like?
It was only my songs.
Okay.
It was like they called it ID.
What does that mean?
When you play unreleased songs on a set during a set.
Oh, what that was?
So
What
it was like
okay.
about 10 unreleased songs.
Oh yeah. So we have
I
never
called
heard.
it dump.
We have never heard.
Nope. First time
Damn.
last night, man.
And you didn't tell us, and you didn't like play it here. We need speakers. That's amazing. That's amazing. So ensure that you follow Rensa2 on Instagram, so you know when he's dropping his music. But on Instagram, he is not known as Rensa2. He's known as.
Mike Salou.
Okay, and how do you spell that for the audience at home?
Mike SOYLU.
And Mike is MICH. No,
It's not Mitch, man. It's Mike.
No Mitch the bitch. Okay, great. Okay, so anybody noticed anything different? We both have something a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have a new guest on the show, right?
No, I'm just not homeless anymore. For my check. And Rensa2's lovely glasses.
Yeah,
look
new
at
glasses,
that. Look
man.
at that. Yeah.
Dropped the shades and now I got the specs, man.
Yes. Which one do you guys prefer? Please leave a comment below. We'll be interacting with you guys as always. So let's get right into it. This week, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, there's so much. Obviously, you know, our usual topic, Bitcoin is booming. It did a all-time high last night.
Woo!
Yeah, that was crazy.
Now, I have a quick question. Remember XPI?
XPI.
Yeah. The altcoin or whatever.
Ripple.
Is it?
XRP.
Yeah, it's a Ripple. Okay. So there was a court case.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going quite well.
Yeah.
Do you think so XRP has, is doing well. Do you think that was a ripple effect, no pun intended,
Damn.
for Bitcoin? So people are like, oh, you know what? This is going to take over. This actually just might be
Yeah.
a future that could be very, very close. And then news about Akon and him having a coin.
Yeah.
In Africa. Did we talk about that 2 weeks ago, or did we not? I can't remember if we had a discussion with these people.
I can't either.
Okay, well, if we did, please let us know. If not, we're going to repeat myself. Basically, he is going to have 2 cities, one in Senegal and one in Uganda, I think. And he's going to, it's going to be all powered by Usher's Acoin. So payment, salary, everything. And it's like a project that they're going to see, how it's going to work. And my dad was telling me that in South America, there's a country that is no longer, the fiat's always versus the US dollar. So it's relative, right?
Yeah.
But they are saying, no, you know what? Forget that. We're just going Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So some countries where they have really weak currency,
Yeah.
this is an amazing time for them.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to be paid. It doesn't really, I think it's like the new boundary of the internet in the way that obviously the internet and Bitcoin and all these coins have been around for a while. That's nothing new. But what I think is slightly new is that initially after coronavirus, right, it's expedited all the change. And so work from home. So all of a sudden location did not matter. You could be anywhere in the world and you could do your job, apart from essential workers. But we're talking about like tech specific jobs or jobs which you would need to be in the office. But we have found ways, of being a bit more, what would be the right word?
Well, more flexible.
More flexible. And I think with more flexibility also comes with better work-life balance. And there's a host of benefits as well. And there's a host of the gig economy has been there for a very long time, right? And as you guys know, I hate using the word developed nations or whatever, or developing nations. But I'm just going to say countries such as continents such as Africa, Asia, I'm not sure about South America, but they really do benefit. There are a bunch of people who really do benefit from the gig economy there because all of a sudden they're working on a project.
It's all around the world, really.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I think the next level is Bitcoin. So now you can have an opportunity no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have an internet, you have a connection. Obviously now that's another issue that we need to, hopefully we all...
Well, Elon Musk is solving that problem, with the Starlink stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know about that one?
No, I don't.
So, he has a...
This is a Muskie fanboy.
I mean, I'm not a fanboy. I just, I point out the stuff that he's doing good.
Yeah.
So with this space company, one of the major businesses of the space company is launching their own satellites.
Okay.
So actually, almost every 2 out of 3 launches that they do is for Starlink, for their own satellite network, which is a really revolutionary type of new satellite that is very low altitude.
Okay.
So normally satellites fly quite high just to stay away from the atmosphere, so they don't have to spend a lot of energy to pull out of the atmosphere.
Okay.
But these ones are really low Earth orbit.
Okay.
And that enables them to be really fast, really close to the Earth, so you have really low latency and very modern.
What does latency mean for the people who do not have the benefit of living with Institute?
So it means the signal that you send to the satellite has to travel less distance, so it's faster.
Okay.
So, and they're launching pardon my French, a fuck ton of them all the time. So I think currently it's in a few thousand, in that ballpark, satellites, and that's going to enable almost anyone on Earth to have high speed, crazy high speed internet from anywhere, basically.
And how would this be free? What's the cost behind this?
Cost of it currently is $300 for the setup and $100 per month for to use it. But it's the early access prices, so it's obviously going to go down from there. And they just keep on launching those satellites. They just almost every 2 weeks they're launching.
I had no idea. So I knew about the satellite stuff and his the rockets and everything.
Yeah.
And I asked you for the longest time, okay, this is amazing. Yes, it's our new frontier for technology and space exploration. But what about the humans on Earth?
Yeah.
So this benefits humans, and this is
exactly.
amazing.
Especially people in rural areas or off the grid or
where the infrastructure is not there.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's amazing.
I mean, the beta program has been out for 5-6 months now, and people are just raving about it. Really.
Oh, that is just amazing, and wow, that is amazing. So that problem is solved. Now the Bitcoin, I'm really, really excited about it. A lot of people in Nigeria, they're doing freelance work with all these companies and everything, or they're transferring money. And when you have a corrupt government, certain governments are more corrupt than others. And you have corruption. It's a systematic problem. It's not even a government problem. I think I feel it's a deep-rooted systematic issue. That's being passed down. It's not one government agency, or it's not one one president or prime minister. It's a systematic issue. And I feel Bitcoin is kind of revolutionizing that.
Yeah, equalizer, right?
Yeah, yes. It's an equalizer, and I'm really, really excited about that. That is amazing. What do you think is going to be the what's the word for that? When do you think we will be able to use this new internet?
With the Starlink stuff?
Yeah.
Well, most people don't really need it, you know?
Yes, but let's say if you're a charity and you are just a regular person and you want to gift an area in a country internet.
Yeah, that's one of the nicer parts of it, because you're not connected to a fiber optic cable. So normally all countries, normal internet works with cables.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way of getting internet access.
And these cables are underneath the ground.
Underneath the ground, in the oceans, like there's literally a friggin' cable that runs across that land.
So doesn't it like cost a lot of money to like do this?
Yeah, but like a bunch of companies do it because it's profitable. But the problem with the cables is when you have a authoritarian country, for example, they could control what you get to pass through those cables, you know, because it goes through land. So with a system like Starlink, you don't have cables, you just have satellites, and you can't block satellites, you know?
That's amazing.
So you get like free as in like freedom internet.
So everything, you can view everything basically that's on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, it's an American company, so if America decides to...
Is it American or is it Musk's,
Elon's company. But,
so whatever Elon wants to do.
Yeah.
But is he bound by any federal...
Historically, America has been pretty good in terms of internet.
I mean, yes, but now if you look what happened with Facebook and, you know, that they're not...
Ideally, it would be some sort of international organization.
No, look at the UN. Do you think they've done well?
Yeah, that has its own problems as well.
I think free market would be the best thing for something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's overall pretty cool, you know, development in that space.
That's amazing. People are not talking enough about this.
Yeah.
Why?
They're even thinking about spinning off the company from SpaceX. So currently it's a division under SpaceX.
Yeah.
So they're thinking about like taking the Starlink aspect of the company public, so you know it can go out.
And would Elon still be?
Well, obviously, yeah, he's a big shareholder in the company.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm surprised people are not talking about it.
Yeah,
that is weird because this is amazing, especially for. Okay, I'm not a science geek in the way that it's pushing the frontiers of science and everything, but I'm more of a human person, and we have so many problems on Earth, and I would like things to solve that, and I'm really, really excited he's managed to
Yeah, I mean that's one of the
humane aspect. No, but I mean I feel like him as a person, a lot of the things that I know that he dabbles in.
Yeah.
There's a humane aspect. Yeah, it's really cool, but there's a humane aspect.
Like Neuralink had a big breakthrough this week.
The monkey.
Yeah, the monkey thing, right? It's pretty crazy, you know.
And it's amazing that there's one man doing all this. Yeah. That's the craziest part of it, right? Yeah.
Well, apparently he's a really good delegator. I mean, from what I've heard about SpaceX, the COO, I forget her name, is like a veteran space industry person. She's basically running the whole operation there.
Oh, okay.
In the space company, and Elon is just focused more on the technology aspect of it.
Okay.
That stuff, with those decisions. And I think it's similar with the Neuralink company. So really hands-off kind of approach to, running all of those companies.
But
I think he's most invested in Tesla because.
But you think that's his baby?
Not the baby, but the crying baby.
The crying baby.
The attention. Yeah.
Do you think obviously he has these visions, and then he can get people to come on board, and then he can delegate. Right? What do you think leadership style? Sometimes here we do talk about leadership style. Remember our early episodes, we used to talk about the cult of personality, Steve Jobs. What do you think his leadership style is? I mean, personally, before you start, I know you obviously know a lot more about Elon than I do, but from what I've heard is he expects people to work hard, but he is still the hardest working person there.
Yeah.
And he does it in front of everybody. Like he had a desk in front of the factory workers to show how much he worked.
Yeah.
So
I think he can delegate pretty well, but from what I've like heard from various people that were interviewed that worked for him, he can be pretty intense as well, like in a like weird bossy way.
What do you mean? Could you elaborate?
Just like like intense in general.
Like a control freak?
Not control freak, but like really push people to work very, 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 very hard and like just like make sure that they don't fuck up, and that kind of vibe.
So he has quality control. He's got expectations, and you have to meet those expectations. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know. It's obviously he's doing something right. He's running a bunch of companies and doing pretty well.
That's amazing.
A sad story, not a sad, but kind of disappointing thing that I learned.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but NFTs, man. So apparently, I didn't really think about them too much.
I told you they were amazing.
Yeah.
Kate, by the way, Kate Moss has an NFT in them.
What is she selling?
A picture of her, like a little video clip of her, but it's like artsy and it's just like a little GIF, right? It's just like that, and it's beautiful. And she's like auctioning it out. And there's apparently a platform that's gone public, or it was public, and now the share prices are like amazing. And I should have invested in that.
Oh, you said Coinbase.
For NFTs?
That's not for NFTs.
No, there is one for NFT.
Huh.
Yeah, and I should have done it for that. It's okay. All right. Yeah, you say.
Yeah. So I didn't really look into the technology before, but I read something like a write-up about how the architecture works for it.
For what?
For NFTs, like how it really, guarantees that, you're the owner of that that thing, Apparently it has like a big loophole that it doesn't really work that well. So for example, like most platforms, what was the big name? Foundry one?
Founder.
Okay, so basically that one works by authenticating a piece of art via a third-party platform like Twitter. So you say, hey, you tweet it, you say, hey, I put up this NFT and I'm the owner, right?
Okay.
But there's no the blockchain itself does not have any way of authenticating that. You have to believe that Twitter account. So if so one day
I thought it was a ledger. They could keep things in the ledger.
Yeah, but the ledger, the what happens in the ledger is just like it says like because of this tweet, for example, this belongs to this. It doesn't have like underlying system of like really like tying that ownership.
Right? But I mean, they have that ownership with the wallet and with Bitcoin, right? Why can't they just
like authenticity? Like I can say like, hey, I own this as well. But people have to be like, oh no, that is like some other dude. I shouldn't listen to them. The real owner is this guy, so I should listen to that Twitter account. But if something happens to Twitter, for example, then that NFT is totally useless.
Okay.
So it actually doesn't really provide any groundbreaking, solution to that, ownership problem, or at least not the ownership, but the authenticity of the product. So that was a kind of a bummer to learn.
Which people still don't know that much about. I mean, like when I say people, I mean like the average Tom,
most
Dick, and
people
Harry.
wouldn't really dig into it that much.
No,
but I mean, it'll get out. It'll slow. I don't know. It's a tough one.
You think people? But what do you think? Do you think it will work out? Wait, hang on. I need to just get something. Continue, please. Continue.
Well, I mean, there must be a solution to the problem, but it's just it hasn't been solved yet.
Do you think people would? Do you think people would actually?
Yo, where you at, Sims?
Do you think people would actually like? But then So you're saying it's a classic case of false advertising.
I mean, it's a classic case of people not really thinking about it.
People are, I mean, like the sheeple are, they don't know much about tech. They're not going to read the fine print.
Look, Twitter is not going away anytime soon, but like,
is Twitter the only thing that verifies stuff?
Like things like that. I think they have a few other ways of verifying it, but like they all are third-party mechanisms. It's like what you write into the blockchain is like, hey, this Twitter address and this tweet verifies that this belongs to this, and once it's like acknowledged that that is like okay, then it works. But if something happens to that Twitter account, it's just like,
so there's no repository.
Like, it's fakeable as well, right?
There's no repository.
Yeah, so there's no way of really determining who the original maker is. Once it's made, once it's minted, then you can track everything. You can see ownership, and it's great. But before it's minted, like
what do you mean by minted?
So they call it like so it's when the NFT is first created, it's called being minted.
So what do you mean created?
So it's basically like says that, hey, this person has created this, is the owner of this.
So let's say example, I have created a little image. Okay.
And then you mint that image into the blockchain. You say, hey, I am the creator of this image, and my public key is this, and my.
So you need like a passport? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's just like a kind of a certificate of ownership.
Yeah, but by public key, what does public key mean?
So you have a account that's associated to the blockchain, right? It's your public key.
What's example for public key?
It's just a bunch of numbers.
So everybody has a public key.
Yeah, you need to create one.
Okay, so you create basically an account which is a public key.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a private key, which only you know. So you have access to that account.
Okay.
And you also have a piece of art that you need to associate with that account.
Okay.
And the way you associate it is like by using some external system, like Twitter, to say like, hey, I am the owner of this, and then you tweet with your, with your credentials.
Why would you need, if you already have your own, what's that thing called? If you already have your personal key, you have your own key. Yeah. Isn't that enough to say, hey, this is mine?
You need to tie that key to an identity. It can't, you have to prove that that key is associated to that person.
So just a random number.
So it's just some number.
Random, like a random user name.
Yeah. And you don't have like a system on the blockchain that can verify you, right? Because it's all systematic, like automated, right?
Okay.
So you need a verified system to say, yes, that is actually this person.
So all they need is a verification system. That's not that difficult.
Well, yeah, it's currently they solve it by linking to public accounts like Twitter.
But I think going down the line, they definitely would be able to link it to not so public.
But it's a difficult problem. Like, how are you going to upload your passport photocopy like to the blockchain or something? How's it going to work?
And that's the whole thing about the internet being a place where anybody can be anybody, and the freedom it comes with. Yeah. We've always grappled with the freedom the internet comes with, and the freedom, and then the dangers of ambiguity. We've always battled with that, right? Yeah. And once again, it comes to the forefront. Sorry, I'm not in the view. Once again, it comes into the forefront. So that is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird problem.
Because we've had a lot of problems that we're kind of solving now, right? Things such as inequality of access to the internet. With Starlink, potentially it could go pretty well, right? We could solve that potentially, right?
Yeah.
Inequality.
Access to banking.
Right, financial inequality is a huge thing in the developing nation.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin and altcoins are there. People who, work-life balance, or people who can't, travel, or we've seen work being a bit more flexible, and the definition of work has changed considerably, I feel. It has, the last 1 year at least. It's like facilitated a new definition of work. And we see things becoming really, really positive, but then we've got a new hurdle.
Man. We're going
Life is good.
We're doing good as a species. It's not that bad.
No, I think we are doing good, and I think hopefully we can just keep pushing on. Johnson and Johnson, complete segue off topic, but Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
No.
So basically, what's happened is the vaccine. I can't remember which country, but they're pulling it off the market.
Is this the AstraZeneca?
No, Johnson & Johnson. With another vaccine.
What is that?
What are those?
Is that lube?
No, it's hair oil. It's hair oil. We're live. This is a family show.
Sorry, kids. I wasn't really aware that they had a separate vaccine.
No, people
I
know.
knew that
They've got Pfizer. They've got Astra.
Oh, the Oxford AstraZeneca is.
I have no idea how many vaccines. They have Putin's Sputnik.
Yeah.
Is it called Sputnik?
Yeah.
It's so cool. They have China's something else.
Yeah.
They have Pfizer. I don't know. They have Pfizer. And what else do they have?
Moderna.
Yes, Billy Gates.
Yeah.
And then they have Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're actually now, I can't remember which country it is, but they're like, we're not too sure about this vaccine. So it's very interesting. And
yeah, I don't know about it. Like, I think the best performing ones are the mRNA ones, the Pfizer and Moderna ones. Those are practically the same thing. The other ones are just like old school like virus-based vaccines.
But don't you think an AstraZeneca? What was that?
Those, like all of those, have like old school ways of delivering the basically the genes that make you immune to the virus. And the way they send those genes is using other viruses.
Okay.
So historically, most vaccines do that. They change a virus. They take like some ape virus. And then,
I thought they took the virus.
No.
And they gave a bit so your body becomes immune to that virus.
So that's like a super oversimplification, but it's kind of like that.
Oh,
what they do is like they take another virus and then they basically empty it out and then put in a protein, like a RNA, basically, that or DNA, that basically enters a cell and then changes that cell so that it creates antibodies for
what?
For the actual virus.
But then why would you need?
So it hijacks your cells to make antibodies, basically.
But how many vaccines do you need? Then why do you need so many vaccines? How are the vaccines specific to?
Well, it's about production,
No, but no. What I'm saying is
patents.
No, I'm saying like when you if you have what's that vaccine? You have polio and you have whatever hepatitis.
Yeah.
Why do you have so many vaccines if you just need one?
So what you do is like they call it the vector, but you need to change the inner genes that make you create antibodies for the specific illness, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's basically some dumb, like, killed off virus that has totally different genes in it that enters your cells and hijacks them to create immunity against some other virus. So it's like a really weird way of creating antibodies. So that's like the old school one. The mRNA ones don't use a vector, like a virus vector, but they use like some crazy molecule structure, like some crazy sciencey stuff to send those genes into your cells. But basic
kind of thing.
It again hijacks your cells to create antigens.
Oh.
So yeah, antibodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really weird, but the recent ones are those
Pfizer and Moderna.
So those are the mRNA ones. So they just have a really weird molecule. That's why they need to be like stored in like crazy low temperatures because it's like this super weird molecule that shouldn't exist.
Exist?
Totally manufactured weird like fatty molecule that can just like slip inside inside cells. And
so it's like a ninja.
Yeah, exactly. Just like slips through your cell walls and just hijacks your protein creation systems to, create
And
antibodies.
if things go wrong,
To trigger the creation of antibodies.
And if things go wrong, because obviously it's not being researched that much, that's a very dangerous problem to have.
Well, so far the newer ones have been performing much better.
Well, who does the study? Moderna?
I mean, you can.
Pfizer?
Well, yeah, but
The studies were conducted by Pfizer for a Pfizer vaccine.
But they've been working at it for a very long time. I mean, apparently it's like 40 years in the making,
I read that the lady was 60 something, the lady who did it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's quite crazy technology, really, when you think about it.
Yes, but it's amazing when we have technology like this, but so much can go wrong as well. That's all I think about.
Yeah.
What's your take on the new? They're saying that there's going to be new strands of the virus and stuff, and like right now, the UK is out of lockdown, but it's not going to last that long.
Yeah. Well, with the strains, it's like it generally works because what happens with the antibodies is so this virus has a bunch of things outside, on its surface that these antibodies latch onto and deactivate. Create things that latch onto them and deactivate them. So when a virus mutates, it doesn't change the whole surface. It changes certain aspects of the surface. Okay. So it needs to go totally mutate into something totally different. And if that happens, it's probably going to be a stupid virus that's ineffective anyway.
Okay.
So the mutations aren't that big of a deal because generally they don't change a lot.
Okay.
And if they change a lot, then the virus changes and it's generally like a bad virus that dies off. So generally the vaccines are pretty effective against mutations, like the new strands.
Okay.
But you can get unlucky and you can have one that has actually really changed its surface and actually didn't change anything inside.
Yeah.
So it can happen. But I think so far the new strands are not that immune. The vaccines work against them pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
As far as I can see, I didn't really look into it that much.
I don't look into it either, but I do feel as time is going by, we're seeing more and more. We're seeing more. Well, we're seeing there are two sides. I feel in this world right now. We're seeing amazing new technology and amazing things that are pushing new frontiers, building bridges to bring us together as humanity and make everything very equal. Is amazing. At the same time, we have what I would say the reality and the on the ground reality. And on the ground reality, as we have this virus, we have countries who can't afford the virus, the vaccine. A lot of inequality there. We have loads of people dying. People can't afford healthcare, medical care. People who can't, who have to go to work physically, right? People's mental and psychological impact of this whole lockdown and this whole emotional turbulence of everything for the last 1 year. It's impacting people more than I think they initially thought it would. So we're having a lot of backlash with that. Yes, and I feel that it's a very the world is the polarity of the world as we know it as even enhanced further since this whole COVID situation.
Yeah, I agree, and it doesn't look like it's going to change, in that regard,
What do you mean?
The world isn't getting any more equaler, in terms of access to, opportunity and everything.
But the funny thing is you have people who are trying to do that, right? Or you have technology is trying to do that. But the on the ground reality is light years away from, what we have. And it's just horrible, And you would think that with all the technology that we have, with robots and with all the wealth we have, if we had a more fair distribution of wealth, I think maybe we wouldn't. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The 1% can definitely feed and clothe and home and sort out all the problems. There's a huge global disparity of wealth.
That's true.
Yeah, which is kind of like awful.
Yeah. Shall we end it?
Why? You're getting sick and tired of me preening myself like a peacock.
I think we're on time.
Okay. All right. See you.
Take care, motherfuckers. Have a good one. Peace out.
A-Town. Do.
And
Done? Is it off now?